Day 22. So the first time you do this, you kind of set the tone. I recognize that ultimately I think I'm just talking to myself. From the past into the future, to accept the present moment. It was a few days ago, I think, where I was talking about recognizing the money coming in. I don't think it's actually going to be into my hands until into day 40, I'll say, in the 40s. So I'm wondering how that correlates in the last, but I haven't went back into my previous challenge to see, or if I've even talked about that. I just remember that it happened. Also, in my last gong I was dating, and in this gong I haven't dated at all. So I'm just recognizing certain parallels that I want to grow and evolve, get a similar experience from, and see how the gaps are filled by letting go of things that I'm not in anymore, obviously. So in my mind, I think this is all just accelerating the manifestation process for me. That's what I think is happening. Just accelerates everything that I want or need. It's like this weird communication between self and the earth. I'm recognizing more and more stability. And in between the first challenge to this challenge, I think that I've grown emotionally. I've let a lot of stuff go to hone in on self more, stop being so dependent on others, stop being mentally dependent on others, psychologically. It's taken a lot of counseling to get there too, a lot of money. A lot of recognition too, I think just by letting a lot of like stuff that used to bother me, I just don't let it bother me anymore. I think the difference in intention is, for the first gong, was infinite amount of abundance I was calling into my life. And it happened. It happened quicker than I thought it would too. And you know, the love interest, I don't think that she believed me. It's too bad that she didn't stick around long enough to see it all the way through, but it happened. So there is some something to that intention being potent enough, powerful enough to where I see it in this gong, and I think that it'll go into future gongs as well. It's just up to me to recognize it. I don't think that intelligence within and the communication you have to the earth with it ever really goes away, and that is infinite in its own right. But to switch the intention to love, which is also an infinite amount of abundance, is going to be more difficult to, I think, harness or bring in. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice, because what is infinite to me and this earth is different from the infinity to another person and what they view as abundance in an infinite amount through all time and space. Could be very different from the mindset that I have, the intelligence that I have, that I carry with it. So I think it's about being patient. I just need to be patient with myself and recognize that I don't need to be talking to anyone but myself. This is all for me, you know? If somebody else gets something out of it, great, it was all worth it. If not, it's still worth it. Even just talking this time has made me want to go back into the previous gong. I want to see what I said in my first challenge at day 22. So I'll have to go back and watch that. In the first gong, I remember talking about I guess I don't remember really talking about it, but the internal dialogue that I have was how many people could my example help just by explaining what I was doing. And I kind of had that float across my mind a lot in these first 22 gongs. Now I'm just more interested in seeing how I can make my own life even better. Rather than focus on anybody else's life. I think a lot of that comes with being alone. Time kind of stops when you're in love, or when you perceive yourself to be in love. one love that I haven't had for a long time, I've been calling in for a while now, is my motorcycle. So I'm calling my motorcycle back into existence. My FJR 1300, my Yamaha. Calling the old iron horse back into play. You know what I recognize on that thing is that every problem that I thought I had was gone every time I got on that thing. Nothing matters except for the ride. In the Qigong, it makes you address your entire life. When you're on the iron horse, you address the present moment and the present moment alone. Which is much like the yoga as well. The yoga, it's like that, but it's not as focused. In yoga, you can address, like, well, I don't know if I believe in past lives, but I know a lot of people out there don't believe in that stuff. Maybe it's those other people that are just their first life here, but I'll tell you, yoga was allowing me to address is all of my past life mistakes, or all of the mistakes that I could make, but I was seeing them, so I wasn't allowing myself to make those mistakes. Just allowing me to kind of get out of my mind and body and address my soul. But when you're on the motorcycle, you have to address your mind and body as in its own connection and the control that you have over it, so that you can maneuver your motorcycle in the way that you want, in both a way of survival and in a way that's going to make you thrive. You know, how you get to your destination matters more so on a motorcycle than anything else. Maybe a horse might be the only other thing that can compare. like that one. I always get silent on that one. I always tap in deep on that one. It's a nervous system regulator. I should make a reel about that one. The nervous system regulator qigong move. So yeah, I've decided, or I should say that I've chosen to recognize that I'm talking to myself in the future from the past in order to fine-tune the present moment. That is the pun of recording these qigongs. To recognize my own confidence. How about that? You know, maybe you're struggling in your life, especially some of my family members that I see. Maybe it's the time you tried the Qigong challenge. Make a dramatic change in your life. Or don't. You know, keep eating McDonald's and not going to the gym and not working out and doing all these things that I tell you not to do, but you do anyway. See how far that gets you. You know, shopping at the grocery store, eating all this herbicide and pesticide sprayed foods. Not saying I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect, but I will say, through all of my mistakes, I've grown to be the happiest that I've ever been in my life. And I didn't need another person, another place, or another thing to see that so. You know, all these things I say, I just say out of love. That's the reality of it all. I say it out of love. Nobody bats an eye when somebody says to stop, you know, stop doing meth or stop doing heroin or stop drinking. It's along the same lines. So recognize that. Recognize that ultimately all I want is a happier, healthier community. And that starts with yourself, making yourself better. And the happier I am, the happier the ones that actually truly love me are as well. Even if that means that they recognize that in their opinion I'm healthier than them, and vice versa. And that means that everybody loves everybody. That's all that means. Okay, inhale up on the toes, spine straight. Exhale down to the heel. Yeah, that's the sauce right there. Feel the balance on that. Those of you that can do headstands, get the blood all down in the head like that. And then try this one. Feel this in the brachial plexus, the crown of the shoulders. Just breaking free of all stagnation. You know. Alright. My phone's going crazy with messages and emails, so that's it. That's good. Much love, YouTube.